Hi, my name's Alan. I'm a biology teacher here at HNC and I'm here to give you an insight into the world of BTEC Level 3 Applied Science. So the main thing that we'd like to get across to yourselves about studying applied science at HNC is the applied in applied science. It's a real world application. So we always look at what does that mean in a real life situation, what does that mean in a profession such as a paramedic or a nurse or a biomedical scientist. So there's a strong emphasis on the applied aspect in terms of carrying out practical experiments. So they will develop your key transferable skills, as you can see there in the PowerPoint. So problem solving, research and then evaluation of those practical research experiments. They are also mandatory experiments, so they are part of your coursework. They count towards your final grade, and on some of those experiments you will be assessed with your skills. Also, it gives you experience of those practical experiments so that you can use that knowledge to answer questions on your formal exams. So we're going to look at some of the different aspects because you study all three sciences, biology, chemistry and physics. And we're going to look at what a typical lesson might look like in terms of some of those practical research experiments that you would do. So the first one we're going to look at is the physics lesson. Okay, so we'll look at waves. So you'll study different types of waves, and the example we're going to look at today is the standing wave. Okay, and how this can be applied in the real world. So it might be applied in the world of stringed instruments like the guitar, or waves and wavelengths you might think of in terms of radio frequencies, Wi-Fi. So the real world applications are wide and varied, so particularly for engineering and in computer sciences. You would be expected to then use that information to write it up as part of your coursework as an experiment to analyse and evaluate that information. So that would be a challenging task for you, just the same as A-level, same challenge as A-level. And then you would also need to learn that information. So you might be given a directed independent learning task, or DIL as we call it at HNC, and that DIL will help you to prepare for your exams. So that knowledge, that information is used twice. So not just in your coursework to count towards your final grade, but also in your exams. Okay, so that's physics. Chemistry lessons. So one of the things that you'll do a lot of in chemistry is titrations. So titrations are used, it's a quantitative method. So the method that we use to find the quantity of an unknown concentration in a particular solution. So where would we see this? We would see this in the real world, particularly for medicines and in pharmacy. So if you were a pharmacist, you would need to know the amount of the active ingredient. So for example, in a vitamin tablet for iron, we might need to check the iron content in that tablet. And also for quality control. So pharmacists and medicines manufacturers can't make a claim of X number percentage of an active ingredient, say like iron within a vitamin tablet, if it's not correct. And we can actually test that in solution. And we can backtrack that and we can do calculations, and you will see an example of a titration of hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide, and we're going to look at how we use the indicator phenolphthalein to work out and calculate the amount of solution in concentration. Biology lessons. So in biology we do a number of dissections. So the pictures you can see on the PowerPoint, those are actual dissections done by our students here at HNC. So we've got a picture of a dissected lung and the trachea, and we've also got a picture of a dissected heart. So we always begin with a lesson starter task. So this is a link. It's a link into what have we been doing so far, what is your prior knowledge, what do you already know from either GCSE or Key Stage 4. Okay, so that helps us to get that information out. Next, new information will be presented on the control. This is an example of the heart rate and blood pressure. So we'll be looking at the cardiovascular system and the circulatory system in this example. So that's new information that's been presented to you either in a video, or teacher might give you some information to read. Okay, and then you'll be set a challenge task. The challenge tasks tend to be the practical work, the dissections. okay, or some actual written questions or exam questions. So we need you to consider how system disorders might affect those body systems when we are looking at the dissection. So as well as doing the dissection, how might the knowledge and information we've got about system disorders affect those organs? That new knowledge has to then be applied in a real world scenario. So again, we might ask yourselves, if you were a paramedic or a nurse and you were looking at a patient with a system disorder such as cystic fibrosis, how might that affect these organs? What might a paramedic need to take into consideration when they are first assessing a patient if they know they've got cystic fibrosis? That has then to be applied in your coursework assignments. Again, that counts towards your final grade. And you also need to learn that new knowledge, that new information, so that you can use it in your exams to answer questions, to apply that knowledge. So to help you to do that, one of the things that we will do is we'll give you another DIL task, a directed independent learning task. So that's usually set as homework, so that you've got something that links to the lesson that you've done, and you can use that to help you to revise for the formal exams. We round up the lessons, all the lessons, whether it be chemistry, physics or biology, with a plenary activity. So the plenary activity will test the knowledge and information that you've got throughout the lesson, and it will bring it all together towards the end of the lesson. And then finally we'll finish off the lesson looking forward to what the next lesson entails and any pre-learning tasks. So you might be set a reading task to do or a quiz to do to go away to help you to be prepared and ready for the next lesson. So just to reiterate that, the reason that we teach in this way is that the assessments for applied science are either going to be coursework assignments, which are the majority of your final grade, 58% of your total qualification, and then the formal exams, which are 42% of your formal qualification. So you have 2 exams in the first year and 2 in the second year. They are mandatory formal exams. That's Applied Science, BTEC Level 3. Hope you found that information useful, and we look forward to seeing you here at HNC.